Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from GiantBomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about secret new additions to Animal Crossing as part of that update, and also how some modders might have uncovered a weird reason why Monster Hunter Wilds runs so poorly on PC. It's going to be a good one because we have Jason Fanelli on the show. Jason, how are you doing?
I am doing fine. Love to hear about the ingenuity of the PC modding community. I'm looking forward to talking about that later. Staring down the barrel of 39 years old, 8 days from now. I will be turning next Friday, the 23rd. Always easy to remember my birthday because remember back in the instant messenger days, you'd make your screen name and then the numbers at the end would be your birthday. I couldn't do that. My birthday's 123.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to mix it up. Always easy to remember for people when I tell that story. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about news and things that may or may not have my dander up, which are not the Roblox age verification, as the chat has mentioned. That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, right. That sounds like an insane mess over there. I honestly, we're not even. That's not even in the rundown. But I did see a trailer for this Fatal Fury. I don't think humans made a lot of that stuff. I gotta say, I'm not sure.
I don't think humans made anything except the game clips, to be honest. And that includes the voiceover. So that trailer drops, right? And then a couple of boys and I in the GameSpot Slack chat started parsing the different things that are going on in that trailer that make us sad. And it's not just the generative AI. It's not just the blatant use of bullshit tools. It's the little things. Nightmare Geese should be very cool that a previously dead character in the Fatal Fury franchise. He doesn't have a foot. His foot is missing.
He should have one of those, or two of them even.
He should have two of them. And what makes it even worse is if you know the story of, if you want to get into the lore of Fatal Fury, right? Geese Howard is the most powerful weeb in fighting games, right? Some dude from Southern America who's so into Japanese culture, he built his own Japanese tower in Southtown and looms over the city in this rooftop dojo that he built himself.
That's pretty cool.
If he were a real person and saw this shit and what they did to him, he'd throw himself off the building like he did at the end of it.
Pick his foot up off the ground and throw it at him.
That's right. This sucks. This sucks so much. And I understand. I'm sure people who may have seen me going off on Blue Sky, yes, in the grand scheme of the world, this is a drop in the bucket. It's not important. It's a minor thing, and I completely understand that. But the other thing gives me so much anxiety that I just can't talk about it. And I think you get enough of that on social media that you don't need me adding to it. So I'll be more than happy to channel that anxiety at this shit where I have no problem yelling at these motherfuckers than that. And if that makes me a coward, fine. I'll be a coward to you.
Yeah, we'll be cowards on the show. They in the whole beginning of the show, they like hide the feet, even like there was something wrong with their feet technology.
Yes.
It's weird.
Why does Blue Mary have the helmet on? And that's another thing. That's another thing too. If you really want to get into Fatal Fury specifics here, the motorcycle that she's on does not match the motorcycle she has had canonically throughout the series. It's always been more of like a Harley Davidson. Big. I put a picture of it on Blue Sky 2 in comparison. Here, she just looks like she belongs in Cyberpunk, and she's not Cyberpunk. She's like a trucker. What are we doing here? It
goes back to like, well, if they don't care, why the hell should we? I don't get it. Like, why would they expect us to care about the stuff to spend more money on their game if they clearly do not care?
And one of the worst things is they teased a character because it's only revealed 4 characters. There are 6, right? There are 2 question marks that have already been teased, I'm guessing. One of them is a very cool crossover. If you're not familiar, if you haven't seen it, they basically all but announced that Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star is one of those.
Right. Yes, right. Okay.
That's awesome. That's a great idea. I was very much looking forward to using him against my training dummy, Ronaldo, and just beating the shit out of Ronaldo for a little while with Kenshiro. I very much look forward to that. But now, if they don't care enough, like you said, to put effort into their trailers, and their trailers have been great. Go back and watch the Ken trailer. Hand-drawn anime. It was fantastic. And now we get this shit. I don't understand. I don't get it.
It's just frustrating because it's like, soul music, this whole idea of soul music. I would say that video games soul music is fighting games. Like, you gotta have soul if you're making a fighting game. And this is the husk of that. It's the most soulless shit. And why would the people who spend their life playing fighting games want to engage with this in any way? Oh my God, there's something falling apart in the back of my PC. Hopefully.
Oh no.
Yeah, like I just saw cords begin to vibrate in a really scary way. All right, I think we're good. Why would people spend their time putting their life into this the way that they do with fighting games if this is the way the company that owns it is going to treat it?
Or the kingdom, I guess, let's say.
Yeah, the kingdom.
Let's be real here. We know where this directive is coming from.
Yep.
It's very disheartening. It is the disheartening icing on the disheartening cake that has been most of this calendar year so far. And what can we do besides yell about it for a little while? So thank you for letting me de-stress.
No, that's why we need you on the show. Come in here and yell about it. I'm sure the Roblox stuff will continue next time you're on. We can yell about that again. Hey, real quick, happy birthday, Emmy. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, kiddo.
And she's got that Emmy luck streak going where we have basically a blizzard here today, and she got school off, so she's home from school. So good for her. Yeah, that's what she wanted. She's like, I wish I didn't have school on my birthday. Well, there you go, kiddo.
There it is.
I did what I could. No more presents. Just home from school. All right, let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb, independent games media, out here on our own. But no, we have you at our backs. You went to giantbomb.com/join, became a premium member, and you are enabling and empowering all of this. If you want to join those ranks, if you want to get like the premium exclusive Grubb Snacks premium show that just went up, that's on the site now if you become a member. You also get ad-free shows, a bunch of other cool stuff. But really, what you're getting is the assurance that you are supporting a games media apparatus that does not require the input and the destructive nature of corporations. It's you and us, and that's it. And let's keep it that way. All right, as far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Animal Crossing New Horizons adds a new jump, strafing, and walking backwards. This is from Haley Williams at GameSpot. Animal Crossing New Horizons free 3.0 update has dropped earlier than expected, bringing new features including the Slumber Islands, Resort Hotel, and the return of Resetti. One feature players didn't see coming is the brand new movement system, which allows players to move precisely one square at a time, allowing strafing and even a cute little hop. The new style of movement has been added to aid in construction and decorating. The options are mentioned as part of a tutorial in the Island Designer app, though some players managed to discover the new feature on their own. One player posted to Reddit after finding that pressing L now makes your character jump, while others discovered that this was the only part of the new movement functionality, which allows precise movement one square at a time by pressing and holding L. I just kind of threw this in there. It's like, okay, for some reason this excites me. I'm like, I want to get back in there and see how I can move my little character in Animal Crossing. I bet this is also the kind of thing where it's like they are working their way up to the next Animal Crossing game and maybe testing out some improvements and changes here could actually help them in figuring out exactly what that should be. I bet they're a long way along the line of figuring that out, but they'll be happy to test that out here with the public and see how it works. Animal Crossing just feels like it's going to probably have a small little moment here again. It's not going to ever be able to replicate what happened in 2020. That was serendipity. That was the right game in the right time. But I do think that this game popping up every 5 years for the rest of our lives is fantastic. I'm still a little disappointed that we're getting this update instead of a new game. but I'll probably get over that because I'm going to boot this thing up tonight and play some of it, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. How about you?
Yeah, and I'm glad that these movements are in the 3.0 update so that everybody can use them. It's not just
That's right.
part
This is
of
the
the
free.
Switch 2
This is the free
expansion.
update. Correct. Yes.
That I think is pretty cool. And I also I'm with you on the using this as a testing ground for things that they may do in a future game. I agree with you that it would be better that if we just get a brand new Animal Crossing game, but if this is a way to have another moment and include everyone in that moment, not just the people getting the Switch 2 edition, I think
Right.
that it benefits everybody. It's a win-win all around. Um, uh, I do like this new capability of movement. Puts me one step closer to recreating the Jamiroquai virtual insanity
Which has
music
been the
video
goal
in
the whole
Animal
time.
Crossing.
Of
That's
course.
why we play the game,
That's
after all.
why
But no,
we play the game.
but no, I haven't gotten this for the kids yet on their Switches. It's just on mine, so I'll boot it up. I'm going to get the Switch 2 edition too. I don't know about tonight, but maybe this weekend. Caught me off guard. I thought I had more time. Right?
Mhm.
I thought I had the weekend, so I planned for the weekend. Yeah, this is cool. And I loved how excited everyone was too. Like Reb Valentine specifically
Yes.
was her Blue
That's where I
Sky
saw it first.
post.
Yeah.
That was me too, and that was the right person to hear it from. I think it was the one
Mhm.
person who would appreciate it the most,
Oh, she gets
presenting
it.
it to
Yeah.
me. She
Yeah.
absolutely understands. This is cool. And you know what though? I think among other things, this could have been, especially with Nintendo nowadays, just one of those like get an update out there so people are talking more about Animal Crossing again, and being able to find something that they didn't mention, something
Yeah.
small-ish like movement. That's cool.
But
It's something they didn't have to do.
right, and it's like, and it also is the kind of thing where players can do something with this beyond what the intended purpose is. So it's intended
Mhm.
to make it easier to decorate and design your island, sure, but Animal Crossing is often a multiplayer expressive game, and you already hear people talk about like, "Ooh, I'm like when I'm excited, I could do this little hop now," and
Yeah.
when someone's being weird or I want to get away from, 'em, I could just walk backwards and get out of the screen. It's like, oh yeah, new ways to express yourselves, and it's small and subtle the way Animal Crossing always has been. But it's like, okay, yeah, just a few more tools, and these players are going to have a lot to do with this. So, yeah, time to go moonwalking through your villages, everybody.
Yes. Let's add a feature where you can throw items from one player to another, and then we'll have 22 people in one island, and we'll make a giant football field, and we'll create Madden Animal Crossing. I love that. Let's do it.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's this. So I'm just kind of realizing it's like they're gonna have Animal Crossing update. They're gonna have Tomodachi Life here pretty soon, and
Yeah.
Rhythm Heaven. They're kind of doing a lot of their like, those other games this
Mhm.
year. So it's kind of interesting. I wonder how that's going to work out for them. I hope they kind of also have some other weird stuff in the future, but I'll take everything I can get right now as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
All right, this is a weird one. Let's just kind of Capcom. This better not be true. Monster Hunter Wilds modder uncovers bizarre reason why PC performance might be so bad. This is from Lewis Parker at Kotaku. Monster Hunter Wilds performance. Honestly, Chad, if you don't know this story, I want you to throw your guesses in chat for what you think is the reason that the game runs in a poor manner on PC. Performance on PC has been notoriously bad going back to launch, and nobody's quite sure why. One new theory suggests part of the problem could be related to all of the game's DLC add-ons and how it checks for them. It sounds wild, but video footage has made it one of the most convincing possibilities yet. Yesterday, user on Reddit, D. Talmarand, published a
Gesundheit.
rather... Yeah, thank you. I should just sneeze my way through most names. Published a rather lengthy post on the Monster Hunter subreddit titled Monster Hunter Wilds Bad Performance Mystery Solved? As they explain, they discovered the issue by mere chance after playing Monster Hunter Wilds through a friend's Steam account. They immediately noticed that even though they were using the same machine, Monster Hunter Wilds FPS was dramatically better when playing the game through their friend's Steam account rather than on their own. After some testing, the user came to the bizarre conclusion the only difference was that their friend had bought all of Monster Hunter Wilds downloadable content on Steam. As they explained, on the account with no DLC, I got heavy and stable FPS drops down to like 20 and 25 in the hubs, while on the account with all the DLC bought, it was 80 plus frames per second. So
What
obviously this
the
claim
hell?
was hard to believe, but they built a tool, I guess, to like bypass the checks for DLC, and it fixed it. So what the hell is this? Look, people already don't like DLC and microtransactions. You gotta fix this, Capcom. You gotta do something here. This is awful. Does
Yeah,
that
that's
60 frames because you're checking for DLC and it's not there and you're freaking out? That can't be how this works.
you only get a complete frame rate if the game is feature complete. Is this like on disc DLC in reverse? If it's not there, it runs worse. Like what that would explain why they put the DLC on disc all those years ago. If the game was going to be choppy without it on there, right?
Yep.
This is so weird. What a weird. Like it could have been anything. They think. First of all, like I said at the top of the show, the serendipity of the PC modding community cannot be understated here. This is fantastic. But if this is true, or if there is any benefit to this at all, and I am not a PC gamer, so this is not my area of expertise, but I know weird bullshit when I see it, and this is some weird bullshit.
Yep.
I am genuinely curious if Capcom will even acknowledge such a thing, rather than like, would you? What do you say to this?
So that's the thing. So they're not yet, because this is a Reddit post. This is random chuckle fucks. No offense to Talmarand, but that's the stage we're in. We like, apparently Digital Foundry is reaching out to these people, and they're going to do some testing. And it's like, once that happens, well, first of all, they'll be able to do the exact testing. They're rigorous. They know how to control for various other factors. There could still be various other factors that these people who just had this idea, had this hunch, did not control for, and maybe that changed things. So Digital Foundry will be able to control for all of that. And when they come out the other side, if they say, okay, no, it seemed like that was the problem, it's actually something else, which is entirely possible. Or they say, yeah, we were able to replicate this, and it's the DLC. Capcom will have to say something once Digital Foundry is able to confirm it one way or the other.
So further down in the story, there's a couple of interesting points here. The first one is this user, Turmeric or whatever his name is, provided a video of themselves using a custom mod they created that bypasses the DLC checks,
right?
And that's what's made this gone viral. So
Yes.
they kind of already have done that work.
Yep.
And then this Tamarack, Florida, also says that this is not the first time they've done this. In Dragon's Dogma 2 in 2024, they contacted Capcom with an FPS fix, and they claimed that fix was then incorporated into the next patch. Could this just be someone on the inside acting like a Reddit user?
Maybe, yes.
Like, this is what's happening. This is help us, please. I want to get some attention to this. This is a wild, wild story.
Yeah. Capcom's not said anything yet, though, so far. Yeah.
No, and I don't know that they even will. I mean, they just might put it in a patch, and then if it gets patched, then we'll know that'll be them saying something if it ends up getting patched. But ultimately, I love when modders and gamers find weird stuff like this, like the Red Dead Redemption 2 story with the spiders. That is fascinating me right now. The whole like mystery in there, and then stuff like this where they dig in. It's kind of like data mining, but you're not data mining for like updates. You're data mining for why is this game broken? And then this shit happens. I love it so much.
Yep, me too. I hope that this has a happy ending and they're able to like get this game into a state on PC where everyone's like, okay, this is much better. And I hope Capcom learns and never, if this is the case, again, not confirmed, if this is the case that it's the DLC causing the problem, fix that. That can never be the problem again. That's insane, especially we're a year out from this game coming out. Come on. I kind of hope it's just something else, but also if it's this, it's an easy fix, right? And then the game just runs better, and that's the best case scenario. Is the game just the game that millions of people have already purchased? Your game just runs better. That is actually the most ideal scenario.
Yes.
All right, Prince of Persia: Sands. Speaking of data mining, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake could be shadow dropped very soon. This is from My Nintendo News. So we've been talking about recently. This is popping up again. It was rated by the ESRB. I believe this is the game that was rated by the ESRB. So it could come anytime in the next 6 to 10 weeks. Could be longer, could be less. But yeah, usually that's about how long it takes. Well, My Nintendo News has this story. The long-awaited remake of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time could be shadow dropped very soon by Ubisoft. The news was discovered via the newly deployed files in the staging website, with one of the files named game-release-tomorrow.png.
Well done, y'all.
This means the game could be shadow dropped and released on Friday. We will just have to wait and see what happens, but it would be a nice surprise if it does happen. You know, that could be the name of the file, and the file could be for a different date. So I don't know if it necessarily is tomorrow, Friday, that this is happening.
Sure.
But it does feel like this game is imminent and is going to appear any second now. And I guess the question would just be like, do they drop it on their own, like with a post on social media and a YouTube video? Do they wait for one of these showcases that should be coming up anytime in the next month or two? I don't know. What do you think?
Seems like the kind of thing that would be inserted into a Xbox developer direct. You know
Yeah, like right. Wouldn't that wouldn't shock me? That's still
No.
a week away.
And I'm trying to think if other developer directs had third-party stuff in it. I know they're heavily first-party.
Well, they have they have that Game Freak
Partner
game.
preview. Right. That is true.
And I think that game is on PlayStation as well, so it's not like a third-party exclusive or anything. It's not,
Okay.
I don't think Xbox is publishing is what I'm getting at. So I think that's a third-party game.
Sure. So that game released tomorrow could be Friday the 23rd, right? And that's just it's called tomorrow because the graphic says tomorrow, like you mentioned earlier. Yeah, it definitely seems like this game is knocking on the door, and it seems like it's been knocking on the door for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And now that we're getting into the early part of the year's showcases, be it Xbox next week, whenever you decide to announce the state of play, because that seems to be your job these days, or the Nintendo Direct. It does seem like a good thing that would be in a Nintendo Direct too, right? Like that. It seems like a good switch to title to come out the day after a Direct. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, if this is not out by, let's say, March 1st, there's a problem.
Yep. I really like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. I'll replay this. Ubisoft is a weird company in a bad way in a lot of ways, but I like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, so I'll check this out. People are pointing this out, and I remember this now. Back in December, when we were kind of like discussing the possibility of this game showing up at like the Game Awards and shadow dropping there, I think there was a story from Insider Gaming that's like, oh, the release date is January 16th. Well, that is tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
We'll see. We'll know. We'll just know, because it'll have to happen today. If this image that they have in here, this PNG, is useful, they'll have to drop that today, and then say that it's coming out tomorrow.
And I will say, Ubisoft likes to announce their stuff at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So this may happen while you and I are looking at each other. We'll see.
All right. Let's see what happens, everybody. All right. Continuing on here, and by continuing on, I mean let's take a quick break. We have more headlines to come. When we get back, we'll get into all of those. In the meantime, if you want to skip out on these ad breaks, all you got to do is go to giantbomb.com/join. There you can get ad-free versions of the video show, ad-free versions of the audio show. In the meantime, we will be right back. We're back with Game Mess Mornings. Jason Fanelli, Jeff Grubb. We're working on a new version. This is not an ad. This is some behind the scenes stuff. Jan's working on an updated version of the store ad, everybody. We have more footage, so just hang in there. It's going to be back and better than ever.
All right. Can I do a quick update to the SNK story at the top of the hour? Coming in from a fella on Blue Sky named Spicy Sauce. I was an SNK moderator for 6 years, an official City of the Wolves Discord for a year. This trailer made me step down. I can't promote a product that I don't support. Thanks all those years, friends. It was fun. And then they posted a screenshot of their Discord message. Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm stepping down after this trailer. I'm thankful for what you guys did for us and all, but this is too much for me to deal with. This is against what I stand for. I know none of this done by agency or dev team, but if marketing side of the company wants to go this route, this is the station I want out. Take care of yourselves. I enjoyed my 9 months with all of you. Godspeed, Spicy Sauce. That is the right approach.
Boy, it's just we're going to be dealing with this sort of thing over and over again for the next couple of years, I think, of companies just trying to see what they can get away with, and then decent people who do a lot of work having to stand up and be like, this ain't me, I'm out. All right, let's hit this quick one that is popping off in chat that I didn't have time to add. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties details, La La Loveland, blah blah blah. Basically, there was a bunch of previews that went up for Yakuza Kiwami 3, which is going to be coming out here pretty soon. There's a bunch of new like mini games and distractions in the game. I think they're also putting a bunch of bunch of old Sega games in here that weren't originally in Kiwami 3. And people are saying Game Gear, and I'm looking for that. Let me see here. Control F, Game Gear. All right, here we go. Yakuza Kiwami 3 brings back multiple fan favorite mini games from bowling to Print Club. For their first time in series history, Sega's classic handheld console, the Game Gear, is playable in-game with multiple titles available, including the Game Gear version of Pac-Man, Mappy, and Galaga 91 in cooperation with Bandai Namco Entertainment. At the arcade, you can also cut loose with a treasure trove of machines, including UFO catchers, as always, emergency call ambulance, and Slash Out. That's fun. Oh man, I want to do emergency call ambulance. I've not played that in forever.
Are they going to add that game you have to play for Blight Club? It'll make it a lot easier for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just put Sonic Blast in there, everybody. I'll play it, and I'll play it in Kiwami 3. Oh boy. Okay, I think Kiwami 3 is looking real promising.
I do too, but then there was that one controversy with the one guy they brought back who's like a pest. Who's like a not.
Oh, I didn't hear this. Oh no.
There's one of the, and chat can fill this in for me. I don't want to speak to the exact names or anything like that, but I remember seeing that one of the actors, or whether it's appearance actors, voice actors, maybe both, who is coming into the game is not a very good individual. It sounds like they got into some trouble with some things. And again, I don't want to fill in. Again, it's if you can, an actor who's a domestic abuser. Thank you, King Hyman. There it is. So yeah, that part kind of colors it for me a little bit, but
and they won't even they won't address it. Okay, yep,
they won't address it.
Yeah, there's always something. All right, well,
always.
Every single time. Okay, let's continue on here with the headlines. We do have Steam Machine verified requirements will have fewer constraints than the Steam Deck, says Valve. This is from Bryant Francis at Game Developer. As interest in Valve's recently announced Steam Machine continues to swirl, developers have had plenty of reason to wonder what will be needed to attract player interest on the platform. While the company still hasn't released pricing info for the Steam OS-based hardware, it has shed some light on its verification process in a new interview with Game Developer. According to Valve designer Lawrence Yang, developers hoping for a Steam Machine verified badge, can expect fewer constraints than Steam Deck verification. One easy rule of thumb is that if your title is verified on Steam Deck, it will be verified on Steam Machine. Yang continued, VR-based developers using Steam frame verification may expect a different process, though. Yang said Valve will be going through the same rounds of testing and providing developer feedback as it does for other verification programs. The Steam Deck verified badge has proven to be more than a mere quality assessor while releasing games on Steam. It's also been a marketing beat. Basically, these games show up in great on deck on Steam when you log into the store on your Steam Deck, which has been very important for games trying to find an audience. Same thing will likely apply here. And in this case, it's more powerful hardware, so already the verification is going to be a little bit easier. There's also like less concerns about, the portable nature of it, small screen. There's a check for the verification badge for Steam Deck where it's like, hey, is the text readable on this 7-8 inch screen? And that won't be something that they will verify for the Steam Machine because that's going to be that'll be something they can't control for. Everyone will have a different monitor, sit at a different distance away, so they just won't even check for that. So that's the kind of thing that they won't be going for here. Bringing this up mostly because, hey, I'm still wondering what's going on with that Steam Machine pricing. Wonder how people are feeling about it in this moment. We had those rumors of a price that were debunked, but they were pretty high. Now people are kind of going back, hey, maybe this thing could still be $600. It's like, oh, don't set yourself up for disappointment. How are you feeling about the Steam Machine while we're in this weird in-between period of announcement and getting those extra details about when we can buy it and how much it's going to cost?
I think anybody who is following the Steam Machine and also following the price of RAM should be very worried.
Yes.
I think that is, when Nintendo is going, and they were talking about how the price of RAM might affect their choices going forward, and they are probably one of the, they're trying to be as family cost friendly as they possibly can, with a bit of an asterisk. This should scare the hell out of you if you're looking forward to this. Honestly, I don't see in this current market how this launches less than like 800, and that's like at a very low 256 512 gigabyte storage with more storage to maybe like different models with different storage. I like what's going on here. It just basically tells developers that if they can get verified for Steam Deck, they just get verified for Steam Machine at the same time. Like there's less, if there's less constraints on the Steam Machine, then if you try to achieve Steam Deck, Steam Machine should sort of fall into place, right? Like it's
Yep.
not. They should coincide very well, which makes sense because you're trying to. It seems like they're trying to build a whole ecosystem, a whole Steam ecosystem, and to do that, you want the machines to be able to work together, especially with like cloud saves and crossplay and things like that. I also like that there is a Steam Deck verified badge. It's kind of like bringing back the old Nintendo seal of quality. That's nice. I missed that. But ultimately, yes, to answer your question, I would start saving now, even if it's like a year away, because if you're not putting away 4 figures, assuming that the price of RAM does not drop,
yeah,
you might be in
not
for a
going through
rude
this year.
awakening.
Yeah. The Rams just not going to go down in price this year, no matter what happens. Yeah. So you talked about that ecosystem, and it's like, yeah, they really are presenting it in a really clever way, in a way that feels well thought out. Like, yeah, they talk about in the story the Valve Steam controller puck, which is the thing where you could charge the controller, but it also has its own, I think, 2.4 gigahertz radio in there, so you don't have to go through Bluetooth. And I'm like, oh yeah, thank God. I'm at a point where pretty annoyed that we are stuck on Bluetooth as one of the primary ways to connect controllers to any device. And that's just because I've been noticing latency and connection issues depending on like where I'm sitting in a room and whether or not like my kids walk in front of me. And it's like, oh, I don't want to have, that's terrible. That 2.4 gigahertz did not have this problem for me really ever. And Bluetooth does. And it's like, oh, why did we stop? Like, clearly we settled in on Bluetooth like standards before it was done, before it should have been in a place where before it was in a place where it's like, okay, it can handle any sort of situation we throw at it. It became a standard, so people continue to use it. But now it's like, the lowest common denominator for Bluetooth is dragging the whole thing down and making it a bad proposition for a lot of these situations. When it's connected and you're sitting close, it's fine. It's not like you have the latency you have with audio. Like control input data is a lot smaller than audio data, but still, anytime I feel that latency, it drives me crazy. So glad they have this puck. Glad they thought about that. And that puck is like built into the Steam machine. Like, so you could just connect a controller directly to that thing. So yeah, they're thinking about all the aspects of making you happy if you just buy Valve hardware. The question will really just come down to the cost, and we don't.
Yep, and I think that's the only thing that's keeping it from potentially really getting into this market is how much it's going to cost. People are going to think of it as a high-end PC, right? I don't know if it'll be that high, like if we're talking 2,000, 2,500, but it's going to be up there. It is weird too that you talk about Bluetooth, that kids can affect it by walking past. Maybe there was 5G in those vaccines after all.
Yeah, right. Their own 5G signals messing things up. I think that's probably got to be it. All right, this next story is a rumor. PS5 Pro's big pisser update. Right. Yeah, big pisser. The big pisser update releasing by March improves graphics and performance. This is from Robert Ramsey at Push Square. If fresh rumors are to be believed, Sony's big PS5 Pro update should be right around the corner. This is the pisser enhancement that's been talked about for a couple of years now. The update will improve the AI-driven tech, which already allows for better image quality without sacrificing performance in certain PS5 games. If you've heard us talk about DLSS, this has been PlayStation's equivalent. This has been, and they are working with AMD now to be like, oh, Sony's not going to do a lot of the work. AMD's going to do the work and make PSSR better. So here we go.
Make what better?
Pisser. Yeah, I got you. This is it's exciting, but I wonder how much of a difference it's really going to make. I always kind of get it in my head. It's like, oh, this could be like a 5% increase in frame rate or whatever, and a bump to resolution. But usually the reality is, some games are 2% better and some games are 2% worse. So I want to see what this looks like. At the very least, I want to see what AMD's input has accomplished here, and AMD and Sony working together could help them catch up a little bit to what is happening with the DLSS. Not that that's even an option on the PlayStation. But yeah, this is cool. I guess, should we be expecting games to be running better here pretty soon, Jason? I don't know. What do you think?
One would hope. I mean, that's the whole reason for the enhancement, right? But again, I think this is going to be a situation where first-party games are going to benefit. and third-party games are either going to not have a very noticeable change or may even suffer a little bit until they can catch up and update themselves. And that's not to say that PlayStation wouldn't be sharing their plans for this big pisser update with those third parties, but they don't know what they're dealing with until they have it in front of them, right? And we don't know if it's going to the dev kits first or if it's just coming to the entire ecosystem and they have to play catch up. I don't know that it's going to be noticeable on either end, really.
Right.
To the layman, at least, this is an update for like us who follow this thing as closely as we do. And even then, it's going to be one of those things where the differences really show up in like a digital foundry comparison video, where you're not, once you see it, you're like, oh, okay. But at first you might be like, I don't really know what the hell's going on here. I like that they're thinking about it. I mean, it's good that they see DLSS as a, for lack of a better term, threat, and that they are increasing the size of their pisser with this update. But it remains to be seen whether the blue pill they plan to inject here will actually work.
Oh boy. Yes, exactly. It's time for that update here. The thing with the PS5 Pro and with all this tech is the PS5 is already good hardware, and games like the Death Stranding 2 last year, everyone's like, I'm playing on the original PS5 and it looks great. I kind of don't know what I would get from the PS5 Pro, and you would get higher resolution and maybe some better performance. You would probably be able to notice it a little bit especially if you were someone who sits relatively close to your TV, but we are like in deep diminishing returns for all of this stuff. And I just don't know. Like, do you have a PS5 Pro?
I do not. I did not invest. I still have the launch PS5 that I got in 2020. And I think I'm okay with that.
Same. Yeah. And I don't know that this update will change most people's feelings about the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro will continue to be like, oh, that's a premium thing for 1 out of every 10 PlayStation freaks who just need to have all the best hardware. Because there's still not kind of like one compelling case of, oh, this game takes huge advantage of the PS5 Pro, and it's like, I should get that so I can have the best experience. It's like, no, everything's running pretty great on PS5. I guess, does Grand Theft Auto 6 change that? Probably not. They probably make sure that game runs real well on PS5 standard, right?
I mean, they're trying to make sure it runs really well on Series S, aren't they? So they kind of have to include the base PS5 in that. If that game comes out and has any technological issues at all on any of the current consoles, they're going to hear about it. So yeah, I don't think that they are going to make the PS5 Pro mandatory. It may get some nice bumps in frame rate or resolution or what have you, but I don't think it's going to be essential. And if they come out and say that, you know, it would be a very savvy marketing tool for Sony and for PlayStation and Take-Two to kind of merge on this and be like, you know, this is what the PS5 Pro will do for your experience, and then they
but I don't think you get those people in the room and convince the majority of people to care about selling PS5 Pros versus selling copies of GTA 6. That will be everyone's priority there. And Chat pointed out, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did look noticeably better on PS5 Pro, but that was like, there was some like weird softness to the image for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PS5 that I feel like that eventually got updated a bit, but maybe not. I still don't have a PS5 Pro either. I probably am going to go through this generation without getting one, which is weird for me, but that's just, I'm not playing consoles a lot anyhow. I'm playing the Switch, I'm playing PC, I'm playing Steam Deck. And that's
as a tried and true console stalwart for most of my life, I am finding that the invention of the portable PC, it has made my Steam library grow exponentially. You could say it was its own big pisser update. Just being able to play those, like with the Switch, up in the living room while the kids are on their tablets in the morning, or, you know, getting an hour in here or there, that seems to have benefited me. That's not to say I don't like my consoles. I still have launch consoles. The 4 consoles I have right now, Switch 2, Series X, and PS5, all launch or around launch window. So, and they all still work just fine. So I don't see that changing anytime soon because I don't have to. I have other things to spend the money on.
At the very least, I'm going to continue being happy to see companies finding ways to make the hardware that some people and many people already have better in this time where it's going to be hard for a lot of people to justify upgrading to new hardware because it's going to get more and more expensive every single day.
Yes.
To that end, this is a little bit in that category. IOI lowers 007 First Light hardware requirements. This doesn't seem to be so much about like, oh, let's try to really optimize the game, although I'm sure they're trying to do that. Seems like that first like batch of requirements were messed up and there was some miscommunication, at least according to IOI. This comes from Jake Valentine at DualShockers. A week ago, IO Interactive revealed the PC specs for 007 First Light. They were, thankfully, pretty forgiving and accessible. The minimum requirements only need an NVIDIA GTX 1660 or and was matched up with an AMD Ryzen 5 3500. That's Ryzen that's the CPU, so it's a little confusing, right?
Yes.
With an Intel Core i5 9500K and AMD Ryzen 5 3500 processor being like the minimum specs, I believe. Even the recommended specs are like just a little bit more than that. Everything seems to be pretty accessible. Given the price of PC parts to today becoming more and more unreasonable, it's a breath of fresh air that we won't need to drop over $1,000 to play the game. So yeah, they originally had, let's see, the recommended RAM requirements. This is the big one because RAM is going up massively in price. And this was the game that came out and been like, we recommend 32 gigabytes and might even be like you have to have 32 gigabytes for the minimum specs. Both of those now are down to 16 gigabytes, and they're saying 6 gigabytes of VRAM and 8 gigabytes of VRAM for recommended. So that's another thing where it's like people are having a hard time upgrading GPUs already. They've been expensive for a while. They're getting more expensive, especially the ones that are going to have 12, 16, 24 gigabytes of VRAM. People have a lot of cards that only have 8 gigabytes of VRAM. I think people are at a point where like we can only spend so much money on this stuff. Developers, you kind of maybe have to go back to targeting just a slightly lower spec, and it needs to start with games like this one. And so, yeah, this is mostly good news. I think people are going to be happy to hear this.
Yeah, I went from guaranteed to play this on a console to maybe I can run it on my PC, and it was all in the RAM and graphics card change. I like that they thought of this. I wonder if it was influenced at all by the fact that NVIDIA is tossing around bringing back the 3000 series. I don't know if they confirmed they were doing that, but
I mean, so they've always been making those GPUs, but it just sounds like they are going to double down on doing what they've already been doing there. And it's like, yeah, don't worry, we're going to keep making those and might even like kind of put them up front and center. You're right. That might not be like fully confirmed, but they never really stopped making the 3060.
Right. But like my 2070 will get the job done, and that works for me. I don't have to upgrade anytime soon, especially not that I'm the biggest Bond fan, but if I wanted to, it wouldn't. I am now no longer hard pressed. I am good to go, which is nice. I love the statement that they made. The earlier mistake was to an internal miscommunication leading to an older version of the specs to be shared. Yeah, older as in before the RAM prices went crazy and they had to change them. I do wonder how much that's going to affect like visual fidelity and quality, especially if they weren't planning on going this slow. But again, I don't think that's going to be anybody who is going to be playing at these basic minimum specs is going to notice anyway.
The other thing there that we haven't mentioned is this game did get a bit of a delay. It got a small delay. It was going to come out like next month. Now it's coming out in May.
May?
I think it was February. Yeah, it's coming out late May. So they got a couple extra months, maybe specifically to focus on optimization and making sure the game runs as well as it possibly can, and runs better on lower end hardware. If they can accomplish that, I think that's where a lot of developers should be putting their focus right now is just try to sell your game on hardware that's already out there, not on any hypothetical thing that is coming or this idea that people will upgrade their systems to play your games. That's not in the cards for the vast majority of people who are playing PC games right now. And I think everyone wants to just take a deep breath and enjoy the stuff they have rather than trying to navigate this insane market of purchasing the increased price on RAM and stuff like that. All right, last couple of stories here. Ryan Hurst tapped to play Kratos in Prime Video's God of War from Sony Pictures Television and Amazon MGM Studios. This is a guy that I think I recognize from Sons of Anarchy.
Opie.
Yes, yeah, that's was his name. This image they have here, and Sean, I don't know if you could bring that up for people to see. He's got the exact same beard as Kratos in this image. It is literally identical except for the color. But
Yeah,
they can dye that. It is he also he voiced Thor in Ragnarok, the
he
game.
was.
Okay, okay, yeah.
That's why I like this so much, because he's familiar with the
He's gonna know the
franchise.
shit. Yeah.
He's familiar with what's needed, and he may consult. I can't remember his last name. Christopher, the guy who played Kratos in these
Yeah,
games.
damn. Right.
What the hell? Why can't I think of his last name?
Christopher Stargate Man.
That's sure. That seems right. But yeah, and for people asking,
Chris Judge. Yeah.
thank you. There it is. Thank you, Judge. It is Dad Kratos and not Pervy Kratos. Specifically, they are Atreus is 10 in this. So I think it's following the story of the first game.
Okay.
Right? Because it talks about spreading the ashes. It talks about that sort of part in the description that was provided by Sony and Amazon. So we're sticking with the first game, which is interesting to me too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess it makes sense. Like you want to start in media res and sort of have flashbacks to like his life as bad Kratos, or the less warm Kratos, and like
yes, because the stuff that happened in that game probably should only be referenced in flashbacks in some certain areas. Like
like I hope they put a threesome as a post-credit scene, of course, but they've but like him just being violent and killing gods, they can flash back to that. They can even have a whole episode that's like, here's the thing I did that like set up this moment that I'm now dealing with the repercussions of, either emotionally or in terms of the antagonist that I'm facing. And then, yes, the real emotion will have to come from his relationship to Atreus and his dead wife.
And I wonder if they weave in the flashbacks with Faye from Ragnarok into the original game's story now. And as someone points out in chat, if Deborah Ann Woll from True Blood will reprise her role,
right?
Because she was
excellent. Yeah,
she was fantastic as it. There is one aspect to this that I did see that is sort of a disappointing from a cultural standpoint. Kratos has always been voiced by an African American actor.
Yes,
right? It was Chris Judge, and then the other guys. I'm really bad with names today, and
every day.
Part of me was sort of hoping that was going to continue.
Yeah, I think there was there's no precedent here of it's got to be like, James Bond looks like this. There's no precedent like that here, right? They could have done that, and people would have to there would be very little argument that people could stand on and the people I'm talking about here are awful racists. Like that still would have happened, but it's like they could have just like planted their flag now. I agree.
Yes, and that part is disappointing to me, but I do have faith that Ryan Hurst will play the character faithfully, and if he does a question, he will go to the people that he knows, whether it be Corey Balrog or the studio, he's involved as an executive producer as well. I also like that the director of Shogun, and who's done a couple episodes of The Boys and Fallout, is doing the first 2 episodes of this series. That bodes well.
Yep, that does. That premiere, the pilot of Shogun is that's choice. That's good stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So this is cool. It's a good casting. I am in on it. I just wish, like I said, there may have continued on with the one part of the tradition, but we'll see. We'll see how he does.
Ronald D. Moore is serving as showrunner. So
I said Balrog. Ooh, I said Balrog, not Barlog.
You are not the first, won't be the last. You probably won't be the first or last on this show. I'm sure I've said it before.
If he takes up boxing, I am fucked.
Ronald D. Moore is, he did Battlestar Galactica. He did, he started his career. I became familiar with him on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Then I think he was integral to Deep Space Nine. So yeah, he's got a lot. Carnival. He ran that show, and I love that show. So that's a team right there, and they can do some cool stuff. All right, the other casting rumor for a Prime Video show from Amazon, Sophie Turner as Lara Croft. They basically released what looks like a costume test.
It's her first official image as Lara Croft. Yeah, sorry.
It's crazy. That's just Lara Croft. That's just straight up Lara Croft. It's crazy.
Yeah. Lock me in the freezer, please. It's well done. It's very well done. And if you know the story, there was a story that came out not too far back, I think, maybe early this week, about the training regimen she went through to become Lara Croft. absolutely insane. Good for her. I like Sophie Turner. I liked her as Sansa
Yeah.
Stark when Game of Thrones was good. Um, she was fine in Dark Phoenix. I don't think that was her fault.
No.
So I like this casting. I like this idea, and I like she has the look. There it is. And somebody pointed out, I think it was Ash Parrish on Blue Sky pointed out, the reason Lara Croft hasn't looked like Lara Croft and she's back now is the circle glasses. And damn it,
Yeah.
there is something to that. Without the circle glasses, it just looks like, femme fatale heroine. But once you put those on, for whatever reason, Lara Croft comes through. This is awesome. And I was excited to watch this before. I always give all of the video game TV shows a chance, but they seem like they know what they're doing too. Amazon, man, Fallout, God of War is looking good. This is looking good. They seem to know.
I think I think they've kind of unlocked it a little bit of like, oh, if we sort of just hit, the look, the feel, the sound, kind of get all that stuff right. And then we have a decent creative team that can put in a great story that does respect the source material. We'll probably have something, and that it worked for Fallout for sure.
It sure did. And still is.
Still is, and they could probably replicate it here. Just to, like, for audio listeners, she's got the red round sunglasses, and really the classic Lara Croft look, the short shorts, the sort of the holsters for a gun on the thighs, that sort of thing. It's Lara Croft. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that does it for the headlines. Let's go ahead and get on with the show. Let's do the poll question from yesterday, and by that I mean I need to pull up youtube.com/@giantbomb. If you go to the post tab there, you can find the poll question and vote yourself. Yesterday we asked, have you ever played an Echo the Dolphin game? There's those rumors of all those Echo, I guess they're not even rumors. There's a bunch of Echo the Dolphin games coming. I wanted to know, hey, does our audience have a lot of people who've played Echo the Dolphin? 57% said yes, 43% said no. That's not bad. That's a lot of people who've played Echo.
You know why I think you got those results? Because the word played is there, not the word finished. That's how I was able to vote yes.
For sure.
But like, this story was so weird to me that it came out of nowhere yesterday, because I remember back on May the 5th of 2025, I was writing a story about 3 Echo the Dolphin games that had been announced through the Xbox blog and through the Echo Dolphin website while sitting in my daughter's dance recital, but that's neither here nor there. And there was a countdown clock, and the countdown clock was supposed to be for April 22nd, 2026. I guess they got impatient. They didn't want to wait any longer. I don't know, but it was always 3 projects. It was a Tides of Time remaster or remake, I think, is it called? And then at least one brand new one. And I don't know what made them decide, hey, let's talk about it again. But the Guilty Gear comment got me, sorry. But yeah, I mean, it just resurfaced again. That happens sometimes. A story will come out, people forget about it, and it'll just resurface out of nowhere. And this was one of those. It jumped out of the water just like a dolphin would do.
Yes.
But no, cool. If the games are good, great. If not, we'll just play them and forget about them, just like we did the other Echo games.
Exactly. Yes. I hope that they are able to, like, get this delivered and actually make it happen. It doesn't sound like it's part of the Sega initiative itself, but it's like Sega's friendly with all these partners that they work with. Hopefully can actually see it through. All right, let's see here. I have a new poll question. We'll get to that here in a second. Before we do that, though, Jason, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet and what you have going on and all of that good stuff?
JasonFanelli.com on Blue Sky. Big Man Fanelli everywhere else, but not X. I finally got rid of that shit. I couldn't do it anymore, so I am just Blue Sky and Instagram mostly now.
Every day is worse than the last day on Twitter, and that means every day is the worst day of Twitter. It's just impressive, actually, in some ways.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. And as Dan Fiasco, real quick to go back, mentions in the chat, the pic of Sophie Turner flexing to show her work in a pool. We need a bigger freezer to lock us all in. But anyway. But so, yeah, I have a couple articles for GameSpot. I did a full gallery of the upcoming Magic set. Pre-releases are tomorrow. Cannot wait for those dopamine hits, opening those packs, playing a pre-release. That should be fun. MMORPG, I write too. I did a looking forward to 2026 preview of Phantom Blade Zero, which is slowly raising
is.
up my most
Okay.
anticipated. I like, and I think we talked about this before. I like that they're trying to find this middle ground between a Souls-like and a classic, button masher where you press the buttons for different combos. You have 8 different weapons, each with their own sorts of mechanics in fighting and stuff like that. The wuxia influence is strong, especially in some of the enemies. Like the boss you fight in this demo, it's like a bunch of blade dancers in like this. They're doing this very choreographed dance. They all attack you at once. The main dancer is your focus, but the other 7 are feeding him life. So you have to kind of take them all out at once while also focusing on the big guy. And then there's a second phase where they're doing like the rope that the Chinese kind of sort of like roped it. So he's like swinging from the ropes and coming at you. It's really, really neat. I also really, really liked, this is a small thing, but it worked for me. I got to the second phase, died, went back to the checkpoint. And then when I got to the boss fight again, they were still in the second phase. I love that.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
That I don't have to replay the whole boss fight
Kind of
again.
tells you, okay, that tells you a lot about what kind of game it is. All right. Yes. Excellent.
Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That's September, I think, right? September 9. So that's exciting. And then just posting about stuff on Blue Sky that makes me mad or happy or sad, all that good stuff. Got something coming up tomorrow on MMORPG. That'll be fun. Excited to talk about that. Something else I saw at Summer Games Fest. And I'll stop blabbing now. That's me, baby.
No, that's and go ahead, blab anytime here on the show. That's why we have you. New poll question: are you going back to your Animal Crossing island in New Horizons? The options here: yes, no, I'm starting a new island. No, I'm waiting for the next game. No, I don't play Animal Crossing. There you go. Should cover most of you. I'm sure I forgot some of you. Okay, you guys all have your very specific needs when it comes to Animal Crossing, but that's what the comments are for. You can always leave a comment. We usually scroll through those as well. All right, that poll question will get answered and responded to, and we'll go through all of the results tomorrow here on Game Mess Mornings on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, it's Thursday, so we're going to be doing a voicemail dump truck later. Looking forward to doing that. Jan is out on assignment. Sean will be helping us with that as well. So yeah, looking forward to that. We also should have some quick looks going up here and there. We've been recording some are a little bit early, so they won't be coming out to like next week. But yeah, look out for those happening this week and next week. And then yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with another Game Mess Mornings. All right, Jason, thank you so much for hanging out with me today to talk about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Looking forward to the next time, my friend.
Thank you all for watching and listening. Oh yeah, we'll talk over that Resident Evil thing today. That's today, right?
Yes, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. We'll talk over that as well. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Take care of yourself. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.